This was your second time as a writer in residence at the University of Windsor, about a decade apart. What did you like best about each residency and what was most challenging?
The 2010-11 was a real special time because my book Kalila was about to come out, and different professors in the English department too actually edited the final book for me, the final draft. Alistair MacLeod was at the university then too, and became a wonderful friend, and that was a highlight. This time there was a lot challenging because it was the pandemic. I was supposed to start on a day when they decided university wouldn't start for another, pardon me, another week. I was supposed to be there in person, it ended up being virtual. But again, people just stepped to it and were helpful, and it just showed to me the resilience and the hospitality of the people of Windsor that I connected with.
So what has changed in the world of writing in that span of time, your Windsor years, let's call them, and how did that impact your interaction with the students, do you think?
I'm seeing more writers of color, which is great to see. I think on the whole, I find writers becoming more aware of language and the power of language. And I certainly highlight that whenever I'm working with someone. But other than that, writing's hard. A story's still a story, and some newer writers are astonished at you can't just tell a story. There's so many problems people run into. So I don't know if another writer would agree with me, but I don't think as much has changed. People, new topics can come up because of what's happening in the world, but it's still, how do I make this powerful?
So you talk about how you start a story. So you don't start out with an idea necessarily in mind. It's sort of a mystical process.
I know this will sound nutty. It comes out of my hand, like I'll write a first sentence. I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going, and I'll write a first sentence, and it kind of drags a second sentence after it, and I discover what my story is as I'm going. Kalila, I knew I was going to write about the parents with the baby, but other than that, I didn't know. With Are You Ready to Be Lucky, I just had a contractor, and I was getting a house fixed, and he would say the funniest things. Suddenly, I had a story due, and I missed when the deadline was. I missed knowing when the deadline was, and it was like, oh my God, I have to get this story in, and I don't know what to write about, and I haven't. And I thought of some of this man's funny lines, and I got them down, and the whole story evolved from that. I actually worry when people say they outline their novels, and they're going to put this in chapter 1 and this in chapter 2, because I think, it's a personal opinion, it's not a rule of writing, but I think people miss so much if they know what they're going to do and say. It's also important with characterization to realize what a difference language makes. If I say, Melinda hopped down the steps in her strawberry dress, you get a picture of this little girl. If I say, Helga marched down the stairs in her blood red dress, you get a very different kind of character. I said exactly the same thing. So paying attention to the texture, I'm actually doing a workshop here in Calgary shortly, an all-day workshop on the texture of language, because it's like a pebble dropped into a creek. It makes ripples of meaning when you pay attention to the difference between strawberry, which has nice connotations, nice sound, and the blood red. They just start creating a character. The language starts creating a character for you if you pay attention to them.